Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank each and every one of you for getting up extra early to join us here on Lions Talk Live. You know, if you're enjoying the content, if you like this show, this channel, etc., please consider subscribing. Really trying to make a push to get to 4,800. If we could do that before Sunday, that'd be great. But if we got to do it a day or two later, then I guess we all got to live with it, right? Also, while you're watching the show, if you have them free second, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Really helps the channel out. Now, real quick, before we get into the bulk of today's show, in case you didn't know, besides coaching, besides doing YouTube and all that other jazz, I do sell real estate, have for over 30 years. You got to go back to, I think, 1649 to the last time I didn't sell real estate. So if you are considering buying or selling property, especially in the state of Michigan, give me a call, 269-998-2384. You can shoot me a text. You can look me up on Facebook. You can shoot me a message here on YouTube. Whatever works best for you. Just go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, contact me, and let me see if I can work for you on either buying or selling that potential property and save you some money. All right. As I suspected, we would have a little bit of chatter in the comments section starting before the show even got going. So I'm going to play a little catch up here. Phil, what do you got? We got greetings and salutations. Same to you, Phil. Who's the new lineman? You know, just they're probably going to have to do a little bit of looking around. I think we all get that, know that. So the new guy, that it was somebody that used to play for a multitude of different teams. He's going to be a depth piece, a body on the bench at this point. I don't foresee him being a starter or anything like that. But I will say this. I know I had just only a couple minutes really before I had to take off to go to yesterday's game for coaching purposes. When I put up the news that, man, if Isaiah Buggs isn't activated for this game, then he ain't ever being activated, especially now that we even know that Aleem McNeil is going to be out potentially for, at least 4 weeks, right? If he's on the IR. So this is a real huge test for the relationship between the two parties, between Aaron Glenn, Isaiah Buggs, and I guess you can say the Detroit Lions overall as a whole. Because me just being me, we need him bad. We need him real bad at this point. And if he's not out there, then yeah, he ain't ever going to be out there, because this is as big a moment in time in the Detroit Lions for them to look down that tunnel and say, where is Isaiah Buggs? Hopefully he's running out onto the field to help us. But I guess we'll know this week, because if he's not out there practicing, he ain't ever going to be. All right, Buggs, what do you got? Good morning, Coach and Lions faithful. Good morning to you too. Hopefully I'm going to do one. Bergs, good morning. Good morning, Phil. Bit Lady. All right, I get it's not morning for you, but hey, good morning, Coach. Can you let us know about the Steelers' previous used Alua and any insight on his strengths and weaknesses? To be fair, I'll have to do a little bit of a research on that. I just don't want to make some jazz up and BS you guys. I don't know much about him. I do know that he's mostly, a traditional 3-4 end/interior tackle, but that's about as much as I can tell you. So what that assumes to me is that he's a body to fill up space and try to draw two offensive linemen to him. He's probably not going to be great at pass penetration or anything like that. But again, I want to be fair and say I don't know anything really about him. I'll have to dive into it. All right, Bergs, good morning. Phil, good morning. Phil, do the do. Yeah, I'm going to need one bad, because let me tell you, I only got maybe like 2-3 hours of sleep last night, and I am feeling it today. So I'm going to need a do after this show. Bit Lady, Brad Holmes has been working hard. He has been picking up guys from the AARP Community Center. And now I hear that they are interviewing greeters at Walmart for anybody who might be able to play the line. Yeah, I think that's about where you're at with things. And, hey, I just mentioned Isaiah Buggs a couple minutes ago. But the other thing is, if they don't activate Broderick Martin here, I'd say that's a real tell where they think he's at with things, because they are desperate for defensive linemen. And Bit Lady, like you're saying, down linemen, especially on the inside. If Isaiah Buggs and Broderick Martin aren't available for this game or games coming up, yeah, it ain't looking good for either one of them. All right, Lions fan. Greetings, salutations out, man. McNeil's injury is just another huge blow to this defense. Yeah, you think about what could have been with this defense. And, okay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, his loss. Emmanuel Mosley's loss. Houston's loss. And now McNeil's loss on top of it. If there's somebody I'm forgetting, go ahead and point them out to me. But those guys alone, that's a pretty good amount of your defense right there, because there's a lot of guys that could have been helping exponentially. Bergs, what do you got? The Duke crew is the best. Dan should sell shirts. I got to ask Jen where we're at there, because she's the one who made the one sweatshirt. And I think to try to, because some of you guys asked about that, she was going to try to put together like a little website, but I don't really know if she's messed with it, man. And I'll have to ask her. What we got? Bergs, yes, McNeil's injury hurts a lot. He's a big piece to replace. Yeah, and he's going to be tough to replace, because while he might, he's no Aaron Donald, I get that, but he is pretty damn good. And the fact that we're struggling with pass rush to begin with, and you're getting rid of one of your better ones, it's not a good thing. All right, what do you got? Virgil, good morning, y'all. I didn't think the defense could get worse. I guess now we'll see if that's true. You know how I like to look at it, and maybe it's just a rah-rah in me, but hey, this is an excellent opportunity for somebody else to prove themselves. Maybe somebody we didn't know as much about, somebody who wasn't getting as many reps or opportunities. And there's two ways to look at it. You can bemoan the players that aren't there, or you can say, hey, you're the one of the players are now getting a chance. Rise and shine. Here you go. Tom Brady would have never been Tom Brady if Drew Bledsoe didn't get knocked the heck out. So we got to look at it that way. We'll view the positive. Eduardo, I don't want to see Goff throwing more than 20 times. It's supposed to be a weather game, run the ball. Yeah, and we'll see what shakes out. I haven't seen a weather update. I know when I was on Micro Mike's for a minute yesterday, somebody was saying it was supposed to be like 40, I don't know, whatever they said, 42, 43 or something like that. But they did say it could be kind of drizzly rain. So not hard rain or anything, but, it could be wet. And that's not obviously an ideal setup for throwing the ball, especially if you got a quarterback with maybe not the most ideal hands for gripping in adverse situations. All right, what do we got? Southwest Line with McNeil on IR for 4 weeks. It's time for AG and Bugs to patch things up. I would 1,000% agree. I mean, man, if I'm AG right now, I might be sending him, Valentine's cards, maybe some chocolate candies. I mean, something, man, do something. But you guys got to have a come to Jesus moment here and say, hey, the past don't matter. It's all about now and about the team. And if we're going to do this, we've got to make up here. So I agree with you 100%. Yeah, he is the best option to replace McNeil. All right, Bergs, 35 and sunny for Sunday at the Bears. The weather keeps changing, but I'll take that over 42 and rainy anytime. All right, so what do we got to Eduardo? We need this game more than anything, especially for tiebreakers. That's a great point. A very good point there, Eduardo, that yeah, I mean, you need to get every win against the NFC that you can, let alone the NFC North. All right, George, what do you got? Bugs back yet? Greetings, salutations, Duke crew. Today's Wednesday, so they're going to go on the practice field, and I got to imagine just about every reporter in the world that's got access to the field for the first 15 minutes is going to be out there looking for Isaiah Bugs. If he ain't out there, I just think that's a damn shame, because whatever that beef is in, I get, okay, you got in each other's grill. You guys got into a heated, conversation, but also be grown men. Be men about it and say, hey, it's time to put this stuff aside. It ain't about you. It ain't about me. It's about the team. And that's where I think AG, MCDC, whoever, man, Sheila Ford needs to come on down and say, you guys need to act like adults here. And come on, we need to do something here and get this team to the promised land. All right, Southwest Line, they're misusing Hutchinson. I would agree this year. They need to get back to using him the way they did last year, off the line of scrimmage, standing up, moving around. He is an intuitive player, his strengths. Yeah, I agree. They started the year, I think, and I'm going off memories here. And like I said, I'm not incredibly at it today because I don't get a ton of sleep. But they started the year with that, but then they really have gotten, since maybe like the third game of the year, just stale with their use of him. I mean, it's the same thing over and over, and you're wondering why he's not getting better results. they're going to have to do some outside of the box thinking, because while we can all have this idea that, hey, the next player can come in and do something, that's great. And hopefully it does happen. But you're also going to have to force yourself to do some things maybe differently to provide better results. You can't just sit back and go body blow to body blow with every other team. You don't have the personnel for that. So I agree. They need to do some stuff here. Jeff, what do you got? Eduardo, yeah, right. Yep, I agree with that one. Susan, what do you got? Coach, any idea how long McNeil is gone? At least 4 weeks. Will this get the staff to bring Bugs back? That is the question of the day, ain't it? Are you going to get him back on the field? All right, Lions need to figure out a way to get the opposing quarterbacks to get rid of the ball more quickly. The longer they have to throw, the higher likelihood they're going to complete it. Yeah, they've got to get pressure on the other quarterback. I agree. Phil, do you think Lions are hiding their A game and winning ugly as a scheme, going to unleash the beast mode in the playoffs? I could see them hiding some things, like maybe some plays or whatever, trick plays or whatever you want to say on offense. Defense, considering how close they are in most of these games, you'd be playing with fire if you were doing that as a coach, and you'd be the gambler at the craps table saying, man, I just need one more. And I would just hope they aren't doing that. Offensively, I do think they probably are holding some things back. But at the same time, by doing so, you are putting yourself in harm's way. All right, Bruce, what do you got? Just when the Duke crew started to think the defense could get healthy in time for the playoffs. Yeah, and then you get another player that's out and hurt. I get it, man. Yeah, it's a huge blow. Derek freaking Carr completed 15 passes in a row, 77% of his passes. These quarterbacks just have too much time. Yeah, and it's a problem that until you get pass rush on them, it's not going away. Bruce Irvin looked good out there. I will say it did help Hutch a little bit, because you could see where Hutch was forcing a couple times. He got win rates. He got after the quarterback and forced Carr to move up in the quarterback, or Jameson Winston. There were a couple times where it also worked the opposite side, where somebody on the other side. So Bruce Irvin a couple times did force Carr to step up, and you can see Hutch nearly get to him. But yeah, they've got to get hits on other quarterbacks, and they've got to get them down. All right, Bit Lady Coach, any updates on Houston? I remember this timeline is like the middle of this month, and if so, he needs to start practicing with the team. Otherwise, he'll be closer to CD2's date. I'm hoping for an update today, because we know that they did the evaluations on him with Lions medical staff on Monday. Those assessments, I mean, really, I know I mentioned it last week. I was hoping we would hear something Tuesday, but it's not uncommon for it to take more than 24 hours for a review to go through from the medical staff and then the insurance personnel. So, hopefully today, but that news would probably come out before Campbell's presser. So we'll just say by whatever time his presser is, normally like 11:30. So I would say within 4 hours, we should have some form of update, unless obviously the test didn't go well with medical staff. Then we're not going to hear anything for another week or so. All right, Jerome, what do you got? Morning, Coach. Do you think D. Campbell realizes the only we will make a playoff run is through our offense? Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how it looks, right? Because there's no way this defense is going to stop somebody. If you figured the average NFL game, you get, 8 possessions, sometimes 10. And I don't think this defense is capable of stopping more than maybe 2 or 3 stops a game. It's unfortunate, but they've been besieged by injuries, and they're not horribly talented to begin with. So I agree with you. If the coaching staff, Drum, doesn't know that, then, man, they're asleep at the wheel. All right, just say K. This is why we can't have nice things. Good morning, all. Need this weekend's game badly. Yeah, I agree. This would be a huge win for them. And I get once upon a time, people said, hey, this is a pushover game, but it's not. They've got a good defense. They've got problems on offense that hit our weaknesses on defense. Although I guess you could say everything's a problem for our defense at this point. All right, Wardle, if the Lions were to get blown out in the playoffs and AG were to still be here, that would be very telling for this coaching staff. I think you're 100% right. Yeah, if they went out and laid an egg and gave up like 50 points and lost by, I guess, man, if you just give up 50 points, it doesn't matter what you lost by. you probably would be forced into removing Aaron Glenn. And I don't wish that on any coach, by the way. I don't. Um, but man, MCDC, you got to separate your best buddy from the best interests of your team. All right, Southwest, Jack Campbell needs to play at least 40 snaps a game. He had a terrific game, and he is probably the most complete linebacker. I would say there's some room for argument there. Yeah, I think you've got a good point there. I would use Barnes more as a pass rusher in passing down situations. If it was me, and again, talking about how our lack of athleticism is getting exposed more and more. So, and especially with McNeil out, and you guys tell me what you think about this, but I'm probably going to go with my best run clogging 3 down linemen out there. So, I guess Pascal at one end. Man, I'm trying to remember everybody who's still available. Boy, I forget the kid that they just signed from Dallas. Boy, I know it starts with a B, but anyways, play him at nose tackle. Somebody else at the other, maybe Benito Jones at the other end position. And then to your point, I'm probably putting Hutchinson at one outside linebacker, basically. Barnes at the other, and then probably Campbell and Anzalone as basically your middle backers. But that gives you more athleticism. It still gives you some ability to play the run fairly well, I would think, because you're just asking those 3 guys to crash down on the guards and centers and let the linebackers clean everything else up. You should be able to get more pressure or containability with any kind of outside stretches, I would think. Teams that want to run out wide, so outside the tackles or maybe between the guard and tackle, and also be able to put more heat on someone, a mobile quarterback like a Justin Fields or whoever. But yeah, I think you're onto something there, Southwest. Eduardo, what do you got? Lions need to go for a higher time of possession every game to mask our defense. I would agree. Yeah, you're going to have to own that clock and what energy those guys have, because to your point, we're just not as sound as we once were. Yeah, you're going to have to do them some favors. All right, Campbell played good enough that he should remain the mic, and we should use and we should rush Alex more. Anzalone, sorry. Yeah, I think you've got to do some stuff to get more athletic out there and to get more flexibility out there. I would also like to see them use Jalen Reeves-Maybin more, because that dude, I mean, that guy, while he's not huge, you're probably not wanting him against the run game. He is good in pass coverage. He's uber aggressive, which is why I love him. So I would like to see him more and more. All right. What do we got? Southwest Lion. Aaron Glenn is in year 3. Brian Flores is in year 1. Compare Vikings defense this year and the last year. They are much better this year. Coaching matters. It does. And, let's be fair, though. The Minnesota Vikings do have some nice pieces on defense for them to play with. But to your point, Flores does a very good job of scheming things and confusing offenses, and that's what I really love. Don't make stuff so vanilla and predictable. I think you're doing your defense a real disservice, and I think you guys have heard me say a few times, I like Aaron Glenn the person. I think he's very conservative as a coach. You can't play scared. You can't play, well, what if the other team does this? Because if you do, you're just helping that other team out, in my opinion. All right, Eduardo, Chicago will give us the most problems out of any team on our schedule. We need this. Yeah, because I think, to your point, some of the stuff that Fields is going to bring, that's going to be a problem for us. And it is every year we play him. It's just he is a matchup problem for us. All right, Bit Lady. Yes, let's talk bugs. If they don't play him, then why won't they negotiate a contract termination, meaning remove 2024 and set this year to release and try to save dead money? I guess the only thing I could say is I think MCDC really does like bugs. I get that. When you hear him talk about him and stuff, I get he's less than happy about some things with him at the start of the season. But I do think MCDC is in a bad spot because your boy AG and he and Bugs got into it. And like I said, they must have talked about some very sensitive stuff about each other's mamas or something, because it got personal in a hurry. And obviously a personal result is leading to professional results. And you've got to be able to separate those things, especially if you're in charge of grown men on a team. But I think all parties are at fault here. I'm not going to put blame on one or the other. This shouldn't be a problem this long. Okay, I get you wanted to discipline him a week. 2 seems a little much to me, but for a week or so, and now it's gone on for basically 2 months. Yeah, you need to move. You need to all just come together and get this thing done. Bit lady, I am sure that Bugs wants to play and do not know why he would not accept this proposal. In addition, they already made their point. Play him or release him. Otherwise, he takes a position. I agree. Mr. Ed, good morning to you. How you doing? Eduardo, if Lions go into Dallas and win by 10 plus, do you think that would go a long way for giving us hope for the fans for playoffs? Yeah. I mean, I think I'll even say this: if we lose by a field goal or something like that, the game is a game throughout into the last snap of the game. That's what you want to see, that you are able to compete with one of the best teams in the NFC. The only thing I'll say is we've got to get some of these defensive players back, and I get we're fighting the clock at this point. My opinion, Houston's got to be on the field in the next 20 days, or they ain't looking good. And same with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Aleem McNeil, you're not getting him back until basically the last week at best, last week of the regular season. But I guess the good part is when he's back, he's going to be rested up. He's going to be healthy. He's getting a mini vacation here. Hopefully he can return this season. All right, Jim, what do you got? I just love the final stretch of the nail-biting cardiac cat football season. I just love, the final stretch. Yeah. Hey, I got good news for you, Jim. I think we're going to have a few more this year. So get ready to strap in. Phil, Wilbur, yes. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'll go with it. All right. Southwest line, no more 4-2-5, please. Lions need to go 3-4-4, play Hutchinson off the line of scrimmage in a standing position. I'm all for it, man. I hope they do. I hope they just do some stuff, because you can have all the schemes you want as a coach and say, this is what I coach. But is that what's best for the talent you have? And that's where I would say at this point, you've got to revisit everything you wanted to do, because you've got to find a way to put the best 11 guys on the field for your defense. He's going to have to figure it out. Donkey Kong, now we can get this show going. It is Super Bowl or bust time. All right, Eduardo, any combination of Lions winning the next 2 and Seattle losing 1, or the Lions winning 1 and Seattle losing 2, Lions would clinch at least a wild card. Seattle lost in week 2. Stops us from doing it this week. Yeah, and I want to say right now, don't hold me to it. I'm sure you guys will know more than me right now. If the playoffs started today, I want to say the Lions would be hosting the Minnesota Vikings, and the Packers would be going to it's got to be San Francisco if Lions are hosting Minnesota. So that's not a bad setup, I think. And if somehow we got the Atlanta Falcons, I would like that matchup too. So to your point, though, hey, just work on one thing at a time, get into the playoffs. I want to say we get 3 more wins. We got the NFC North, especially if one of those is against Minnesota Vikings. But don't hold me so much on that one. All right, Bitley, smash the like button, guys, and get more exposure for the channel. Thank you for that. Yeah, anybody, if you would, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up, the like button, all that jazz. It all helps out. All right, Alec, good morning, Coach. What I would love to see is Lions lock up the division and sit Goff the last game. Play Hooker and see what he looks like in live action. Yeah, I agree with you, Alec. If that can happen, the last game, I'd rest everybody who's a starter. I don't care if it's offensive line, whoever. Patterson and Fox are probably the only 2 dudes who are starters I'd let go out there. I probably would say I'd give Teddy Bridgewater a quarter, maybe a half, just so he's got some familiarity with things, some game reps, I guess you could say. And then the second half, let Hooker get out there and throw that ball around, see what he can do. All right, Voltron Force, good morning. Good morning to you too. Ed, what do we got here? I have been listening to other teams' talk shows. The Bears and Vikes are talking about the draft, but the Packers are talking about playoffs. And they should, man. The Packers have a real chance here. So let's – for me, if I was to evaluate a team, what would make them a dangerous team in the playoffs? 1, do they have a quarterback, and especially a mobile one? And you could say right now, Jordan Love is evolving. He is improving. I don't think he's Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's Brett Favre, but he's doesn't mean he's bad or anything. He's actually pretty decent. They've got some weapons on offense, and they have a defense that can get to the quarterback. So with those things there, that's not an ideal team for anybody to play because whoever is going to host them is the favorite. I think it favors the Packers that they get to be the underdog for a chance. So yeah, it's not a great matchup. I like our matchup far better with Minnesota and or Atlanta than I would Green Bay. Although I do think we can beat Green Bay. I just think, man, if you turn the ball over 3 times, 4 times, whatever it was in that game, I guess if you count the failed fake punt, that's 4 turnovers. You're going to have a hard time beating most teams in the playoffs. All right, what do you got? Duncan Lions go 2-3 in the next 5. That's my prediction. I hope it's 3-2, but hey, we'll see what shakes out, man. All right, what do we got? Property Lord, we need Sunday bet. I would agree. Ken, good morning. Danny, do, and greetings and salutations, everyone. Same to you. Hopefully, you're having to do one. All right, Phil, Lions are hiding that they really have. Lions are hiding what they really have in mind. Sure, teams have film, but not what Dan is actually capable of. Okay, let's see what MCDC comes up with. The Lions owe it to the other players who put it on the line every week to have their best players playing. AG and Bugs, for the good of the team, need to patch things up. You couldn't get me to agree more on that. I fully agree. All right, Matthew, greetings and salutations. Even having some of these old guys come in will not be bad for the team. They provide experience and fill gaps in talent short term. I agree with that, Matthew, 100%. Hit the like button. Thank you, Ken. Yeah, if you guys could, go ahead and hit that like button. One funky good morning, all. Yes, good morning to you too. Phil, 1649. Yes, what Mountain Dew has done to preserve me over the centuries. What do we got? Southwest line. Many people are critical of Goff. Take for granted many of the throws that he makes. A lot of these throws in the Saints game were very narrow windows, and he was under pressure. I agree. I mean, he played very well, I thought, that game. And the other part, I know we've mentioned on this show before that it's going to be a whole lot easier to get worse than Jared Goff than it is to get better than him. And the surprising thing from Lions fans is, I mean, man, we've gone through so many bad quarterbacks over the last 50 years that I've watched, this team for the most part. I can't even think of all of them. But, Jared Goff, in my lifetime, I'm going to say, all right, if you got to go on the Mount Rushmore the last 50 years for Lions quarterbacks, I'd probably put him up there with Stafford, the great one, Eric Kramer. And after that, I probably start struggling to think who I'd put up there with them. So, I mean, it's just there's been a whole lot of Joey Harringtons and, whoever else you want to say at quarterback. The only one that I really wish they would have given the starting job to long term, but Matt Millen stopped that, was Mike McMahon. I thought that kid, for a 5th-round pick, he was mobile, had a cannon for an arm. I mean, he could run too. I thought, and I remember Mariucci wanted him to stick around and not get Harrington. They wanted to go with Mike McMahon. But, yeah, there ain't been many better than Goff, I guess is what I should just say. Eduardo, we need to pound the ball with everyone. Gibbs, J-Mo, D-Money, Raymond, St. Brown. I agree. You need to control that clock. You need to keep their defense on and our defense off because it ain't going to go well, I think, with our defense. Walter Davis, what's up, Coach? Do you think we're going to make any more moves? They're probably going to, just out of necessity, look around and see if they can get any more D-line help because they're beat up. And they need it. Did you win? We did get the win last night. So we are off to a good start on the season. So we'll put it that way. Huge game, though. Friday, we're going to face a team that hasn't lost a regular season game, I think, in 2 years. So when I'm off the air here today, I'm going to be doing a lot of film study and breakdowns. All right. Trump's a genius. Should have signed Sue. Yeah, at this point, I would say that's not a bad idea. Wardo, how do you feel about the Chicago game? I am very worried. I think it's going to be a tough one, because a lot of their strengths hit our weaknesses. You're going to have to protect Goff. You're going to have to, move that ball on the ground, and you're going to have to find a way to contain Fields while getting pressure on him. No easy task. What are those? 4 a.m. here in Cali. Good morning to you. up with 3 sick kiddos, 1, 4, and 6. Sorry to hear that. This show couldn't have come at a more perfect time. I was starting to lose my sanity. Well, I'm glad it can help out. And is that yeah, that's the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom. I like that, man. That's pretty awesome. Hopefully the kids feel better though, and hopefully you can get some rest. All right. Trump keeps his name in Sue keeps in game shape, never hurt. Yeah, I would say at this point, I'd be calling him. I'd be calling, and not because he has ties to Detroit, but because what he could do for the defense. And I think if you're not doing that, then you're doing this team a disservice. Eduardo would have got 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 of our losses this year can be broken down to DC making questionable calls. I hope to God he doesn't cost us any more games. The first playoff game. It's going to come down to coaching experience, and that's the only way you get it. Is you learn what you should do and what you shouldn't do in situations, and the players are learning too. So let's also keep an eye on that. But Wardo, I think you're right that MCDC. I mean, that's part of wearing the crown of being a head coach. You got to live with the decisions you make. All right, Phil. 3 and 4 for the playoffs. All right. 3-4 for the playoffs. I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I would agree. Yeah. I think it would be a more ideal setup for what our strengths currently are on the team. So agreed. Trump, beautiful lady. All right. Okay. We'll go with that. All right. Phil, hey, thank you for that. I'm going to buy a Mountain Dew and a hot dog with that today. Cause let me tell you, man, I'm needing it. I didn't get to eat much yesterday and I'm hungry. So thanks for that, buddy. All right, Booth. Good morning, Dan and Duke crew. Good dude. Morning to you too. Bugs. Yes, I agree. Get them back. Get them out on the field. Do what you got to do, man. But get them out there. Don Kong. I think the Lions lose to Chicago. Well, you are a glass is half empty guy this morning. Come on now, Don Kong. We got to win this game. We got to win it by 90 at the half. We're up 90. All right, Eduardo. I remember when I wasn't worried or nervous before a game, and then November happened. Well, hey, man, I will say this. It makes the games more intense, I guess, when they're close all the time. Keeps you on the edge of your seats. And then when they win at the end, it's just exuberation, right? You're full of excitement and energy. Ozzy, what do you got? Good morning, Dan. Have you any knowledge on Matt? Boy, I can't. Farenko, we picked him up from Dallas's practice squad. He is the nose guard. To be honest, guys, just because it was game day yesterday, once I got off the air, whatever time it was, like 2:30, I did a little bit of thing on Isaiah Buggs. I didn't have any time to check on Tyler Wilson or any of the other guys they signed. So what I'll try to do today is once I do my film breakdowns and stuff, I'll do some breakdown videos on the new signings and try to get you guys something either later today or in the morning, probably in the morning. But I'll try to get that for you guys. So sorry I can't give you something sooner, Ozzy. Phil, like Germ, okay. All right, sorry about that. I had to clear my throat. Don Kong, yeah, Wardo, yeah. All right, Don Kong, 37 rain and snow mix. It's probably not going to be ideal, but I will say this too. While I don't think it favors Goff to be throwing in that weather, I will also say Justin Fields, while I get he's still growing and developing, he's a young quarterback. He has some accuracy issues to begin with. This probably isn't going to assist with that either. All right, mile marker. I'm feeling good about meeting Bears because I assume coaches have a new scheme. Yeah, I know about assume. It is what it is, man. I mean, hopefully we do some things that positively affect us. I know a number of you pointed out the 3-4 formation and getting more speed and athletes on the field. I'm all in favor of it. I'm going to say maybe AG's looked at it because they did use Jalen Reeves maybe more than I ever would have guessed last week, and he paid dividends big time. Southwest terminating Buggs' contract would be a huge mistake. He would be snapped up by another NFL team. I agree. In a New York minute, these guys need to swallow their pride and apologize to each other. Yeah, I would agree. I would 100% agree on that. Walter Sue, I'm hoping they're ringing that phone. It's that time of year where he typically comes in and signs with a contender. He is beloved, I think, by the vast majority of Lions fan base. So not only would you hit a part of need, but you bring in somebody who's got some Super Bowl experience, who's familiar with the franchise, maybe not the coaching staff and such. I think it'd be a very good idea. Trump, what do you got? Maybe Bugs. Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, I'm not going to that one, but you never know, man. You never know. Donkey Kong, Don Bird, Donkey Kong Lions players hear all the doom and gloom talk from fans media, except I'm reverting back to last year when you're them against the world mindset. Starters off loving, and so now no much love it. Yeah, I agree that last year they had a different mindset, but last year they were overcoming a 1-6 start. It was us against the world and everything. Nobody believes in us. Nobody believes we can do this. But to your point, Don, I think there's probably a lot of truth to that. You need to try to reframe the players' mindsets, the coaches' mindsets that, hey, everybody's counting us out. We're down, guys, and everything. It is the end of the world. We've got to rally together. It's us versus everybody. You guys get all the cliches, but you're going to have to do it. All right, Dr. Detroit, good morning, team. Good morning to you, too. Phil, do the show from bed, Dan. Hey, man, ain't nobody want that, man. Berg's supposed to be grown men. This is about the team, and we owe it to the fans. Fix the issues and play Bugs. We need them. I agree, Bergs, 100%. This has gone on so long, and it's not like he's hurt or anything. So get him out there and get it going. Southwest, with a rain-snow mix forecast, I really think the Lions need to do more two-back sets, which creates more opportunities for play action. One of Goff's strengths. I would agree. They're going to have to outthink the situation, and both teams are going to have to do it because it's part of playing outdoors. You're going to face adversity that you might not normally see in most NFL games. All right, one funky. Y'all need to worry about the wind more than the rain or rain-snow mix, which is what I saw the last time I looked. Yeah, the wind will impact passes, especially down the field. So, I mean, if they're not working on it this week, then that's, oh boy, they've got to be working on that stuff to prepare. All right, here we go. Don started. Yeah, I knew what you meant, man. Eduardo, they were moving Hutch around for like the first 2-3 defensive drives in the New Orleans game, and then they stopped doing it. And why? I can't answer that, man. They've got some good ideas, but they don't stick with them. And I would love to hear the logic behind it, but they're not calling me or giving me that information. Run the ball. Yes, Dr. Detroit, I would agree. Southwest, I think Sheila Ford may need to intervene on the Bugs AG situation. It's affecting the rest of the team and preventing them from having their best players out there. Like I said, she might have to come down and talk to them all and say, hey, it's time to grow up, kids. You're acting like this is some middle school jazz. All right, Eduardo, I really think for next season, we start off with Hutch playing like 50% of the snaps and ramping him up as the season go on. It's what Green Bay did, and Gary, it's worked. Yeah, because you guys have heard me say it. When I watch film on him and break down different things on the Lions, he just looks beat tired. He looks like he's just out of energy, and I think that's what they need. At this point of the year, it's tough because every game is so impactful on the schedule. I mean, every game is anyways, but you're going to have to, if it's me, I'm taking him down from like 95% of the defensive snaps this week. I take him down to like 75. And yes, I get that means he's not out there and somebody else has got to be. But you've got to get some energy back into those legs. And if you don't, I mean, you're just going to keep having mixed results with him because I have no doubt he's going as hard as he can. I have no doubt he's trying to run through walls. But when you're pulling weights with those legs because there's just no strength left in them, you're just going slow and, hey, you've got to get the kid some reps or some rest. Play Bugs, fire AG. I think there's probably good arguments for both, although I will say this, I don't think they're firing anybody until after the season. Eddie, what's up with Isaiah Bugs? He said some bad things about Aaron Glenn's mom. Aaron Glenn spoke badly about Bugs' grandma. From there, calamity ensued, and both men decided to get into a nose-pushing contest, I guess you could say. Just get in each other's face and keep talking. Since then, Bugs has not been allowed in any games. And, yeah, they got to get over that, man. Don, what do you got? This won't be a blowout win, but you can have the statement game with a close win. And I think that happens Sunday for us players, tired of hearing the same old Lions talk. Yeah, just win. I don't care how you do it. 1 point, 2 points, 4,000 points. Whatever you do, get the win, get to 10-3. then I think you only need mathematically 2 more wins at that point to absolutely secure the division. So do what you got to do, but you got to take care of your own business. All right, Caboose, what do you got? Number 2 seed is in our hands. It is. It's right there. One or two things go our way, and we got it. All right, Dr. Detroit, don't if we lose, it's not really same old Lions. Yeah, the same old Lions. Yeah, we're 9 or whatever we are, 9-3. We'd be 9-4 with a loss. We're going to have a winning record for the first time in back-to-back winning records the first time in 2 years. I'm going to imagine we're going to get 1 or 2 more wins at least the rest of this year. Hopefully 3, but we'll wait and see what happens. Unique, what do you got? Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you too. Hopefully you're having a great one, a do one. Kibbutz, a little luck, maybe the number 1 seed. It's possible. It is possible, especially with Cowboys and Philly this week. I don't remember who 49ers are playing, but man, if both of them dropped one and we won, then yeah, we'd be right there. Trump Bugs got AG. Oh boy, he did get his undergarments twisted. That is probably correct, and now it's gotten personal. Dr. Detroit, 1962 was the last time we were 9-3, so this ain't the same old Lions. Great point there. This is Brad not doing enough for the D line. Maybe Dan being too stubborn on the culture. Probably some truth to both of those things. I think you got there, Dr. Detroit. I think they need to try to not be so uptight about stuff. All right, Southwest, another benefit of a 3-4 is more bodies in the middle. They won't have that easy drop of passes that they had against the Saints game. Yeah, I agree with you that for what we have available, especially on the defensive line, having a 3 down lineman set and just have them, hey, we don't need you to worry about getting out into the tackles or anything. We're just going to have all 3 of you crash the guards, crash the center. Let the linebackers, whatever you want to say, the next row of the defense, the 4 backers, whatever, clean up everything out wide and or over the middle as support. So I think for the player personnel you have now, especially with Lee McNeil out for the foreseeable future, you're going to have to revisit what you want to do on the field versus what's best with the personnel you have. So go from there. Phil, Bruce will get ramped up as we go along. Yeah. I just think at his age too, you just want to make sure you don't overly use him because you don't want to have another Hutchinson situation where he's totally gassed come the playoffs. I would probably not give him more than, in any situation, 20 snaps a game, just so you keep him a little bit fresher. The other part of that is I'd probably spell, like I said earlier in the show, I'd probably start getting Hutchinson down from 90, 95% of the defensive snaps to 75, maybe even 70. If there's happens to be a game where we get up exponentially, take some snaps away from him just so you can start, helping his body recover. All right, Dr. Troy, wheelchair ramp. Oh boy, here we go. Trump's genius can't believe they won't sign Sue. Never hurt, never missed a game. Yes, I think they need him. Fast start. Agree, Phil. Michael, howdy, Dan, Lions faithful. Good morning to you too. Hopefully you're having a great one. Don Berg, guys, we have to realize this is new to us. The wins in the territory we're in. It's new to Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, also his leaders. I would agree. It's new to everybody because they ain't been through this jazz before. Southwest Lions, wouldn't Melifanu be better in pass coverage than Tracy Walker? He's quicker. That's a good point. I think he probably is better in pass coverage. He's just not as good in run support or anything like that up front at the line of scrimmage. So you really, with Tracy Walker, I think you pick your poisons, and that's you guys have heard me beef about that, about the first play of the Packers game on Thanksgiving Day. You put him in as a bad situation as you could while doing the same to Kirby Joseph, and to me, that's just player misuse. All right, Jerome, what do you got? Good morning, Dan. Do you think the new ownership accepts excuses from coaches when the team doesn't win because they don't have talented players or their coaching skills stink? I would say this: the ownership's probably just happy that we have a relevant product on the field for back-to-back seasons, first time in a long time. And we should all also say this: the trend is our friend. Look at year 1 to year 2. Really, as long as they win one game the rest of the year, they will have again improved from the year before. Hopefully, they do more than that. But they had a lot to fix on this team when this new regime took over. They've for the most part, I think we could say they fixed the offense. The defense has some nice young parts. They just don't have enough parts, and the injuries haven't helped either. So I'm guessing the ownership's not overly concerned with anything. They're going to let Brad Holmes and MCDC handle any kind of adjustments they need to make throughout the season or off season, I should say. Phil Sue would have to just put AG in the hospital. Yeah, I think if you would have had Sue and AG into it, my guess is that might have been more than just words being exchanged. Phil, go blue. Yes. All right. Did FSU get messed over, Dan? Man, that's a tough one just because to me, I get the argument that FSU didn't play enough quality teams. Same time, though, they did play a few. I don't think Texas really played a ton of extraordinary talented teams. Yeah, it's just tough because you can't make everybody happy. And when they expand this thing to 12 games or 12 teams, whatever, there's still going to be people complaining about, hey, this team got messed over, whatever. So end of the day, they made the choice. I probably would have went with FSU, but it's not also my call. All right, Southwest, what do you got? Exactly, Dan. Barnes and Hutch on the outside, Campbell and Anzalone in the middle. Yes, to me, that's your best formation there. Now, it also means you're going to have to get some more backers on this team because you're going to need some backups. Anzalone's not going to be able to back up everybody. All right, Trey, rising to all, same to you. I wanted to ask a question about Brian Branch yesterday. Do you think they should use him how the Cardinals and Chiefs use the Honey Badger? Whew, that's not a bad question. Point you got there, man. I think you've got a good point there. But the Lions, I think just because of the injury situation they have seemingly on all levels of that defense, they're almost forced into using guys into specific roles. Maybe when CJ Gardner comes back and he gets a game or so to get, kind of his feet wet or whatever, then you could probably be more specific in some of the duties you give to, Brian Branch or some other guys. But right now, I think they're just trying to get guys on the field. But I think as far as the future, I think you're right. Don, every team will give us trouble. Yeah, if you can't stop other teams, they're going to give you trouble. And I think you're onto something there. You're 100% right, Don. Trump, what do you got? Just because we sign these guys don't mean Bugs won't. You're right. Yeah, it won't play. Yeah, I'm hoping today with the practice report he's out there. I hope that. But I'm also going to say the trend is our friend. They haven't put this dude back on the field in forever. You've had, man, if you're not doing it at this point, with all the troubles on defense that we've got and now the injuries, yeah, you're just too stubborn to put that dude back on the field. All right, MJ, what do you got? Morning, Lions faithful. What I don't understand about RD is if these are our best pieces, how bad are the rest of them? We have talent. It's defense, a coach's problem now. You got to make the best out of what you got as a coach. And what I'll say, we've been talking about it all morning. Look at your players that you can choose from, the guys on your roster. What is the best situation for me to get the best 11 guys out here? Doesn't matter the positions. I need the best 11 players out there and build from there. That's what Aaron Glenn, in my opinion, has to do. I've got to come up with schemes that use our strengths and mask our weaknesses. And I get you guys have been saying this too, but Aaron Glenn's got to do some outside the box thinking. He's got to try to, do whatever he can to say, hey, this defense is at least going to get 3 to 5 stops on the other team's offense per game. We do that. This offense is good enough. We're going to win a lot of games. He's going to have to mature as a defensive coordinator in a hurry. All right, Dr. Troy, Bugs Gonzo, folks. Yeah, I think we probably aren't going to see him back. Hope I'm wrong though. Southwest, another benefit of lining Hutch off the line of scrimmage. I think that's a way to reduce his snap count and give him more rest with a 3-4 look, and it increases the speed of the players. Yeah, they need more speed, more athletes out there. So agreed. Trump AG is in over his head. I'd say the longer the season goes, there's probably more evidence of that. All right, Southwest line. When we're facing a mobile quarterback, logically, you need to have more speed on the field to defend him. Another benefit of the 3-4. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier. And I get talking about it before the Saints game and stuff. this D line just isn't very athletic, and you need to try to figure that out to get more athletes out there. Lone Wolf, magic number is 3. 3 wins, and the Lions win the North. Can they win 3 games with that defense? Only time's going to tell, man. Phil, congrats on 47K, Dan. Yeah, hit that, I want to say yesterday or something. So the drive is on for 4,800 now subscribers. Hopefully we can get that in the next week or so. Jason at Lone Wolf, I think they may get some help from Dobbs to win the division. Just saying. Well, be honest, guys, I'm more worried about the Packers right now actually coming up and catching us. I get, they still got some work to do, but I think there's a real chance the Packers win out. If they win out, they've got 11 wins. Lions need to get 3 wins to secure the North, in my opinion. And I know maybe there's tiebreakers that if we only get 2 and finish tied with the Packers, that we still win the North. But the NFC North, you're looking at it, and where once everybody thought it was a doom and gloom push over division, it ain't looking that way anymore. There's a real chance you could have 3 of the teams in the playoffs, and potentially 3 of the teams even get to double-digit wins. All right, Dr. Detroit. Yeah, Packers fans are used to making the playoffs or pushing. The other 2, not so much. I agree with that. Bit Lady, yes, Teddy Bridgewater is the number. Teddy Bridgewater is the number 2. So many games that we will rest Goff. Tampa Bay will be the first guy in. Teddy Bridgewater will be the first guy in. Hooker might get a quarter of, if that, next preseason. We'll definitely see Hooker. Yeah, I think we'll see him next preseason. Probably the vast majority of the preseasons, as they're going to want to, we've talked about before, they're going to want to evaluate him as deep dive as they can. That's what they're doing right now. They were going to want to further support that with next year's preseason. And I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think at that point, that's when they'll decide if they're going to re-sign Goff or not. All right, Dr. Detroit. Yeah, not giving the ball away and stupid calls were good. Yeah, we good. Yeah, I agree with that. Mike, what do you got? Doesn't Sue's skills not match what we are looking for in our scheme? But with what I would say is if you went to a 3-4, that does fit Sue. I think if you're going to play like a 4-3, and I don't know, maybe if you put him back inside as an interior defensive lineman, that would probably work for him. But that's also what we did with him here. When he went to other teams like Tampa Bay, he became an end, but they were playing a 3-4. So he's got some flexibility. You can move him around. You might not build a defense around him at this point in his career, but you're going to be able to get some use out of him. Trump, what do you got? Sue would be an upgrade over every defensive lineman on the team. At this point, I would say yes, every healthy one. Kramer was early Brock Purdy. Yes, he was. And I'll say it probably to the end of my days that when they decided to move on from him and not get Warren Moon, and I guess now after watching Bye Bye Barry, Joe Montana, that's what really killed the 90s Lions teams. They had an opportunity to be a powerhouse, in my opinion. But, Scott Mitchell, while he did have a couple decent years, he just wasn't that guy, unfortunately. And nothing against him. He wasn't able to go to the next level. All right, Bergs, exactly, Dan. Goff is one of the better QBs in Lions history. When it matters, the Lions coaching staff trust him with the ball. So do I. Yeah, look at every time in his career here, it's 4th and whatever. They're letting him throw it. They do it over and over again. They clearly have faith in this kid. And he might not be, the elite quarterback in the NFL or one of the top 3, but he's pretty damn good. All right, MJ, what do you got? I wanted Green Bay in first round to get backs. We had 4 turnovers and still almost won. Yeah, if we face Green Bay, it would be obviously here again. I gotta imagine we'd have a much better result there. Doesn't mean they couldn't beat us, but I think you look at the bottom teams that are more than likely going to make the playoffs as either the numbers, whatever the lower end seeds. There's some pretty decent matchups for the Lions. I would say the toughest one out of the bottom 3 is probably Green Bay. That's why I'd be saying, hey, Minnesota and Orlando. Anybody can win any day. I get it. Atlanta could come in here and beat Detroit. Minnesota could beat Detroit. Detroit could beat all of them. So there's some decent matchups. All right, Lone Wolf. Didn't know that with Mariucci and McMahon. I love hearing old stories like that. Yeah, Mariucci was really less than happy when they were forced into taking Joey Harrington. Don't ask me. I'd have to go through like 30 years of notes to remember who Mariucci wanted to draft instead of Harrington. I know it wasn't him. He was sold Mike McMahon could be an NFL starting quarterback and a pretty damn good one. He had all the traits. He said he just needed time to grow and stuff. And going back and watching the kid, it was too bad that didn't happen because obviously Joey Harrington was not a great pick. And another instance of what management wanted really hurt the franchise. All right, Don Kong, Hooker. Could be next year. We'll find out. Bit Lady Sue is targeting the Eagles. Unfortunately, he is. I want to say, didn't he play with them like a year or two ago during the playoffs? So, but yeah, Brad Holmes, hey, you got some work to do. He may want to go there. Can you get him to come here? All right, Southwest Line. I don't think AG uses his personnel well. I don't understand why they don't find more snaps for Ravens Maven or Rodrigo. Linebacker is a position of strength, and we've got some athletes out there. All right, what do you got, Trump? We need the new guy to pile drive their quarterback. That would probably help if we could get Fields out of the game, but who knows, man? Maybe Bruce Irvins knocks another quarterback out, and you know what? He gets reputation as the quarterback killer. As long as he doesn't do it in a manner, I guess you could say. As long as it's just through the natural course of the game, not like dirty or anything. Max, got this game against the Bears as a loss, sadly. Well, let's hope, Max, that we can turn that loss into a win on your board. All right, Don Kong. Oh, yeah, we losing to the Bears. Let's hope not. Barb, what do you got? Hope the cold weather doesn't cause more injuries. Bay City Big Bear, also facility of greetings and thanks, Dan. Good morning to you, too, and hopefully you're having a great one. Bit Lady, all right, food for thought. A couple of previous NFL football analysts that did the film review and replayed the Saints game said that the Lions defense was not as bad. It was the Saints making good adjustments. And that's probably true in a lot of games, so give them some credit. I mean, sometimes you can only do what you can do, but the Lions, if they can keep getting more and more pressure on quarterbacks, that probably back half of the defense starts looking better and better. All right, Eduardo, we can definitely compete with Philly. Their defense is just as bad as ours. Isn't that kind of odd that it is? But hey, it is what it is. But San Fran, yeah, we'll be getting blown out. You never know. Maybe we'll run 40 flea flickers and catch them off guard each time. I'm going to think positive. Bit Lady. All right, one or two more. That's time for me to go get the dew because I'm running out of energy here. Bit Lady. O'Neill, I see what you did there. Charlie Brown. Yeah. Charlie Brown reference. All right, Dr. Troy, Bit Lady, we should watch some film and figure out those adjustments and make adjustments. Probably not a bad idea. Bit Lady, Dr. Troy, for sure agreed. They are making some adjustments, but I think they planned, schemed, and where they are with personnel has also put them somewhat in a corner. Correct. Yeah, our lack of personnel and some strengths here. All right, guys, it's about that time. Closing on an hour, and you know what? The Mountain Dew and the Circle K are calling me. Not literally, by the way. But hope you all had a good day today. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you would, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Trying to make that push for 4,800. Maybe we can get to 5,000 before the end of the season. That'd be a heck of an achievement, man. Hit that thumbs up button. Go out and enjoy a day. Make it a Mountain Dew day. If there's some breaking news, I'll try to get it on to you guys as fast as I can. But like I said, it's going to be a busy day with film evaluations for Friday. So you all have a great one, and I'll see you on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.